All right, boys and girls, we're back with document D. And so we're going through these laws and these rules, and we are considering how we're going to prove our claim that Hammurabi's code was fair, Hammurabi's code was unfair, if it was just or unjust. So we are considering that as we read through these laws. Remember, these laws came from the stele, from Hammurabi's empire, from Babylon, and they were posted up 282 different laws, and they've been extracted off and translated for us to take a look at today. So in document D, we read Law 21. If a man has broken through the wall to rob a house, they shall put him to death and pierce him, or hang him in the hole in the wall which he has made. No messing around. Clearly, right? If you rob someone, death penalty, either stabbed or you are going to have to hang from the hole which you created. Okay, so wow. Law 23. If the robber is not caught, the man who has been robbed shall formally declare whatever he has lost before a god, and the city and the mayor in whose territory or district the robbery has been committed shall replace for him whatever he has lost. So there is a community aspect to this, which we'll talk about in the answers, but pretty interesting. A support system. Law 48. If a man has borrowed money to plant his fields and a storm has flooded his fields or carried away the crop, in that year he does not have to pay his creditor. That's really nice if you're a farmer. Not so sure about the creditor end of that, how they would feel, how you would feel if you were the creditor. Law 53 and 54. If a man has opened his trench for irrigation and the waters have flooded his neighbor's field, the man must restore the crop he has caused to be lost. Okay, so we read through those. Hopefully you read through those yesterday, even talked about them with your crew. And today we're just going to go through these answers to document C. Oops. No, D, excuse me. We're on document D. Okay, Law 21. If you want to have this out and open and make changes and additions, you may. If you want to just listen, you may. If you want to write things down on paper, you may. You're just gathering information, correct information, to be able to work on your CER coming up later this week and next week. So that's what we're doing. So if you need to make changes, go ahead. If you're feeling pretty good, then you can just listen. Law 21. What is the penalty for breaking into a home? We read that it was a piercing or a stabbing and hanging, whichever I guess they decided at the time. Number 2, how might Hammurabi justify the harsh punishment? If there is not safety and security in a community, people will not go out. They cannot be creative. They cannot have commerce. They cannot think of new ideas. They cannot share those new ideas with others. You spend your time being scared. You spend your time protecting your food, your cloth, your grain, because you are concerned that when you get back home, it will be gone and you won't be able to live or function, or you'll be in a bad spot. So if you don't have the freedom and the ideas and the ability to go out and do things productive, then the empire is going to shrink. It's going to get worse. It's going to start to collapse. So there needs to be a sense of community and staying safe. Okay, so and then it even talks about the bad must be eliminated before it spreads. One thing leads to another, and more people do it if it seems like a good idea, and pretty soon you'll have chaos. In Law 23, if the robber is not caught, who reimburses the victim for his or her loss? And it talks about the local mayor reimburses the victim, and it talks about that it could probably came from the community, that support. So we can say, don't worry if you go out and you're gone and you want to do these things and something does happen, we have your back. We're connected. We will help you through that. Plus, it's a little bit on the mayor, like, hey, is your district not so safe? Are you having some trouble with your leadership here? If you're having that trouble, you're going to have the consequence as well to help out that person. And it's not just on your people, it's on you as well. So that heightens things and keeps things even safer for the people. Number 4, how might Hammurabi have justified reimbursing the victim? Let's see. Just a way of keeping things as a team, as a community. We're in this together. We can do this. It makes things better for the people. They don't feel overwhelmed or scared or alone. more creativity, more time for good things and not time for protecting yourself, more time for forward thinking versus your basics of staying safe. In Law 48, what is a creditor? And Law 48, is Law 48 fair to creditors? So a creditor lends money. They say, okay, you haven't grown your crops yet, so you can't sell your crops yet, but you have to buy seed. So I will give you the money right now to buy your seed, but then you have to pay me back once you sell your grain that you've raised. Well, in this law, they don't, if something happens to that crop, the creditor does not get paid. So is that fair to the creditor? If we think back to Monday when you guys did the exercise with Miss Richards and she was taking you through different perspectives, that's awesome if you're the farmer. Whew, I don't know. I mean, he's not doing anything wrong, the farmer. This just came in and it ruined his crops, and what is he going to do now? He can't possibly pay back the creditor. He doesn't have anything to pay back with. However, the creditor, is that fair to the creditor? I mean, this could be a debate that you guys have, or maybe you've already had. Would it be okay to say, "Oh, I just can't pay you back"? Oh, sorry. Then what is the accountability for that? And how does that work? If you didn't have that, would anyone ever grow crops? Would anyone ever be willing to take the risk? Well, I don't want to become a farmer, because then if I lose my seed, I'm going to be forever indebted to this um, creditor, and the creditor may never loan anything to a person who is a farmer. I lose my investment every year, because every year there seems to be some kind of a storm. And so different perspectives, you can debate that out and decide what you think. There's no necessarily right or wrong answer. But I would certainly think that from the creditor's perspective, it would be a little difficult to swallow that idea that they don't get paid back. But that's just me. And number 6, overall, are these laws regarding property just? That's a discussion for you and your crew. You can have individual discussions or a whole group. This is the debate, right? Are these just or not? So that is the debate. It's becoming a little more personal, a little more opinionated, and you could certainly stand in either leg, yes or no, and prove yourself that way. Okay, that was document C, reading some of the laws on property, or excuse me, document D, reading some laws on property. And we'll be back with document E in a little bit.